Hey Tubes, Jonathan was wrong here, Truth and Budget. And it is raining. I went back to Hull to watch the storm, then I realized that the rain was so bad I was gonna get trapped there. So I'm no longer in Hull. It's already flooding. Literally, you can get trapped in Hull. Now, I don't want that to happen because I would have nowhere to go. I'd be in my effing car, where like in a place where you're not allowed to sleep in your car. When it's raining this hard, it makes it really hard to smoke a cigarette too. Of course, people are gonna be like, "Oh, why you smoke a cigarette?" 'Cause I wanna. Anyway, how we all doing? This is my one day off this week. I got a, Donkeys is doing the rip it and win deal. Just rip it and win. So I'm drinking a $1 macchiato right now. I gave him a $2 tip though, because I gotta, $4-something coffee for $1. They're getting a $2 tip. That's how it works. That's how it should work. I don't understand. Actually, talking to this guy, this kid that came in, was it last night? Yeah, I was doing gas last night, and we were talking about the importance of tipping, because we both work. He used to work at a tip-based. He used to deliver pizzas, and I never expect a tip. But I especially don't expect a tip from pumping gas. It's not really that difficult, honestly. I mean, sometimes there's house accounts and there's all sorts of BS you gotta menu crap you gotta go through and print out certain things, and it's a pain in the butt. And if things go wrong, it's really bad because there's money missing. But it's not rocket science. The car wash, on the other hand, I am the decider on how clean your car gets. If you want all that sap and berries and bird poop off your car, I'm the guy doing it. Not those flailing rags. The flailing rags are for buffing. The actual cleaning is done by the human being with the brush and the pressure washer. Who knew that actual? Sorry, I have to pay attention to where I'm going. I don't know. Who cares? I was about to say something sarcastic. Anyway, I'm done with this whole topic. Tip people. That's it. Throw them a buck. Don't feel. I have people. They'll be like, "I'm sorry. All I have is $1." And they hand me $1. It's like, it adds up. If every single person gave me $1, I'd be leaving with over $60. So whoa! Trees are down. There's a down tree. I wonder how often anyone gets any of my quotes. Probably never. Did you know that I'm quoting stuff sometimes? Do you know that Trees Are Down is from an old 90s sketch comedy show called Upright Citizens Brigade? And it's from like a random sketch in a random episode. 3rd season, I believe. It's one of those things where you just keep waiting for someone to catch the reference and they don't, So be it. I love caramel macchiatos because you have straight espresso, and they really hook me up on the espresso. Good thing people, especially women, can't tell that I'm joking sometimes. So if I'm being weird while ordering, or a little saucy, or like, I don't know, whatever I do while I'm talking to a machine, you know, when you're ordering, you're just speaking into a box. But yeah. Oh yeah, I love caramel macchiatos because you get the espresso and then you get the milk, and you could do like just sweet milk, or you could do a straight shot of espresso, or you can mix it. You can tailor every single sip, and I love it. It is the coffee where every sip can be completely different. I love it. Sorry, I'm taking a route I'd normally take, but I'm taking it backwards. So I have to be more mindful. Gosh, and it's like kind of gnarly out. So let's talk about that. Let's not talk about the weather for a minute. Yeah, I don't know if this is from what is that weird hurricane that they're brewing up down south, Florence, I think. I wonder if this is related, because this is pretty bad. I don't know what you can see from the camera, or if you can even hear me through the rain. But anyway, back to my topic, sorta, that I kind of just had something I wanted to talk about, because it's just like, all right, so when you stop and really think about everything, like the setup, how things are, the people in charge, what they're doing, it's super effed up. It's baffling. It's like, it goes so deep. It's literally over 98% of all people have no idea, and it's a worldwide conspiracy that affects every facet. And it's so messed up to think that there's so many enormous lies, huge, massive lies, and how the whole system is set up, school, work, how everything works, and how everyone's down with it. It's just shocking, man. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, it's effing terrifying. You know, I'm glad we physically feel the love of God every now and again, because it's like, it's a terrifying world, you know? I mean, think about the original saints. I mean, do you think they think that they had any idea stuff would be this bad? I mean, all right. So when you think back to the times of Noah, the antediluvian age, which is such a cool word. Which means pre-flood. I think deluve is probably like a root of deluge. But anyway, there were giants then, and there were giants afterwards. There were monsters then, and there were monsters afterwards. It's where you get, especially in the sea. That's why in all those ancient maps you got there be monsters. It's where you got sea serpents and, you know, merfolk and all that stuff. Those things were real. Those things probably still exist. There probably is still, you know, mer people. Did they evolve that way? No. Some powerful demon made them. Made all these things. How? You know, I don't know. There's Egyptian reliefs of them just taking the heads off of animals and like putting them on their heads. That's a big thing with H.P. Lovecraft too. Just the body part swapping. When you look at the ancient structures, how big some of the stones were, some of the monuments they built, some of the fortresses and vacation homes, whatever they built. We wouldn't be able to do that with the technology we have now. We would not be able to move those stones. That's just a fact. They're the base of, forget which Roman, which one it is in Rome, but the stones on the base of it are impossibly enormous. The human beings would build holy sites on top of older holy sites. Holy is, just because they're already there. Okay, think about this. Think about camping. All right, here's a super easy parallel. When you're setting up a campsite, are you gonna clear off a new plot of land, or if you see some flat area with like no rocks and sticks on it, with just a couple leaves that'll take a second to like brush off, do you set up your tent there, or do you clean off a whole new area? You set up your tent there. Same thing for a lot of the when they built these massive structures. The flood knocked a lot of the top off of them, but there's still a base. A big, strong, massive base. So like, hey, what the heck is that? We should build something on that to honor our gods who probably had something to do with that, which they did. So the old ones are the same 23 that made the pact, made the vow, came down and realized it was a bad idea not that long afterwards, and have been fighting each other ever since. I mean, I don't know. There is some, because there's different demons too. Because you got to think there's angels. There's angels that serve God that have jobs that aren't very great. I mean, there's got to be angels in hell whose job it is to torment demons, that aren't there because they don't want to be. I mean, but then again, who knows? All I know is that angels have jobs. They got stuff to do. They were made for a distinct purpose, and that is to do whatever job they have. That's why when the fallen ones came down, they instituted work. Work didn't exist other than the work we had to do to stay alive. Because we gave up the garden, so it was our job to toil. The demons changed that into something else. They have knowledge of how hierarchies work. So they were able to construct one on Earth. They were able to recreate things on Earth. And some of them were creative enough to make experiments. A lot of those experiments ended up with monsters. Did all the angels have that creativity? No. That's why when you look at the ancient pantheons, there's always a crafter god or a goddess of magic. Usually two. For some reason, the crafter god's always like a dwarf or ugly. a reoccurring theme. In Egyptian mythology, I believe his name is Nut, or Nut, and he's like a little brown dwarf. In the Greco-Roman mythology, what is it, Hephaestus or something? But he's a hideous hunchback. For some reason, the ability to create is always given with, you know, a deformity, like it's like you're a freak, unless you're a woman. But none of the angels were women, so you gotta keep in mind that all the goddesses are actually just fallen angels in drag, which is where the arts come from. It's interesting that all these things are connected. I mean, if you look at the Book of Enoch, Azazel, which is probably the, you know, probably Lucifer, probably the same guy. He was the fallen one that taught us how to make makeup and how to work metal. Now, isn't that interesting? He taught us how to decorate ourselves. Wow, it is pouring. How to decorate ourselves, which is a lie. And then I mean, you can't have trannies without makeup. So he taught us makeup, and then he taught us how to work metal. So how to do war. So think about that. Think about the two aspects that Azazel brought us. The Book of Enoch should be read. I don't know anything about anything, but the apostles of Christ reference it, and the book itself is full of a lot of information. If you know, if you know what we all more or less think we know now about how everything operates, it's all covered in the Book of Enoch. Weather, everything. A lot of about how everything works is covered in Enoch, which is why I think it was removed from the Bible, because it just contained too much information. The people that decided to remove it were the bad Jews, because good Jews love discussing things. That's kind of like the basis of like Judaism, is discussion. If you look at the Hebrew scholars, you couldn't discuss something without without bringing up something else that someone else had already discussed, which is why Jesus would ruffle so many feathers, because he'd be saying, I'm saying this under the authority of the Father. They didn't like that. But anyway, I don't know. I knew this was going to be a rambler when I started it, but I mean, when you really think about how effed up everything is, how you know, all the time and effort put into the lie of space, in all the sciences, the fake sciences, evolution, all these things that are super easily disproven. It's like evolution. Evolution is one of the easiest things to disprove. It is so stupid. It is one of the stupidest theories, and it has no evidence at all. Yet if you think that God made us specially and made everything, you're an idiot. But if you think that you share the same common ancestry with like a house plant and like a tick, and you're part monkey and you're not that far, you're 2% different than a monkey, you're an effing idiot. You're just an idiot. You haven't done the research. You haven't looked into biology. You don't understand musculature and bone structure and cell structure and the perfection that is biology, of how everything functions in perfect unison, and it couldn't happen accidentally. And the fact is, if it were to happen accidentally, there would have to be immense astronomical numbers of things born. Use your blinkers! Sorry, I can't, it's so irritating. Just gonna stop in the middle of the road and just take a left. It's pouring out. Idiots, clearly. The world is full of very stupid people who just can't put in the effort. You know how you use your blinker? I'm gonna show everyone how to use your blinker. You stick your effing pinky out, and while you're moving the wheel, your effing pinky will flick the effing... It's not difficult. You don't gotta like manually do stuff. You gotta flick your effing pinky. But oh, it's your left pinky and you don't know how to use your left hand because you're useless. I only learned how to use one hand to do everything. I don't know. Isn't that dumb? I understand that you're dominant with one hand, but why would you completely neglect the use of the other one? Because it's harder to use? So then get better at it. What else you got to do? Check your Facebook? You know, you swinging a hammer all day? Take a few left-handed swings. Why not? You need to give the right arm a break anyway. Am I the only person that like thinks about stuff like this? Not only are you resting, but you're still working and you're improving your other side. You're improving the dexterity of your other side. Why not do that? I know things are easier with one side. Why not, I don't know. Because it's easier to make things easy, right? Why improve? Why get better at anything? Why be strong and capable? Why would you want to do that? Why would you I don't know. I'm getting sarcastic again. Sorry, it really sets me off when people don't use their blinkers. It really irritates me. It f's everything up. Say you're trying to take a turn, person coming at you all of a sudden takes a turn. You could have taken a turn also, but now you're still waiting. Because they couldn't flick their pinky because it's so hard. It's so hard to flick your pinky. Anyway, people are self-centered, dumb, and weak. But anyway, if you look, I've said before when Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth, I'm not sure that was like, is that pre or post? Because the meek are kind of, it's kind of what they're doing right now. People be meek, but not in a humble way, just like a pathetic kind of way. What was I talking about like 5 minutes ago before that idiot? Oh yeah, okay, so for there to be random mutations that are effective, there would have to be millions upon millions of births every generation for everything. Because for you to get those random results that are effective, you need to go through every other result. And you need to do it in such massive amounts of numbers that you need to ensure that the good randoms breed with each other. Because males need females and females need males. And you can't inbreed. I can barely see. Because inbreeding has been proven to cause problems in animals and humans. So we can't have all these, random, just one generation from one set of parents creates this perfect set, and then they start breeding with each other, because then they would start creating random offshoots as well. other than the fact that we don't see these random mutations because apparently they take millions of years to happen. So we're talking literally, you know those numbers where it's like a bunch of numbers, then like smaller numbers, you know, like it's like, you know, to the, you know, like to the 4th power, but instead it's to like the, you know, billion trillionth power. We're talking numbers like that for every generation, for every species ever. Now, where's that breeding? Did they evolve to stop breeding like that? Other than the fact that while everything else is, you know, evolving to have defenses and weapons, some things would be more successful than others. It doesn't make sense. If we all share, if we all shared the same, you know, common ancestry, everything would be the exact same. There wouldn't be all these differences. Why would things be so vastly different everywhere? The Earth isn't that vastly different. Yes, the Arctic is very different than the desert, but not really. In some ways, they're very similar. The deep ocean's extremely different than a rainforest. In some ways, but in other ways, it's very similar. There's not enough massive differences for there to be all these different kinds of life. Other than the fact that how are these plants evolving? They need nature to spread the seed. They need other animals to spread the seed. How is that happening? How is that all evolving at the same time? It's impossible. It's just not real. It doesn't work out under any scrutiny. If you know anything about biology and you think about what it would take to get where we're at and how we don't see any of it, there's no fossil evidence and there's no current evidence. So where is it? Because we have a tailbone and chimps look kind of like people? Is that all you got? Or someone found a couple bones, maybe? Sorta, kinda, not really? You found one partial skull? Maybe? And so evolution's real? That undoes every single thing around you? I don't get it. It literally makes me sick. I don't get it. Why do people want to believe fantasy so bad? I don't get it. Is the news so much more, you know, fun? You know, is God creating everything just not that interesting? That people got sick of that story? I don't. And people don't want to believe the truth. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to actually like think about any of this. Evolution's so stupid. It's one of the and it's one of those backbones. And it's one of those things where if you were to if everyone were to know that we were specially created, then that would, you know, so many breakdowns. People are always like, why evolution, why space? Because the denial of God is where it starts. If you knew what you lived on and you knew that you were made, you couldn't have all these BS theories and confusions. You can't, they're incompatible. Just like I don't understand how these Christians that read the Bible do like some sort of mental gymnastics to say that the firmament is like the ozone layer or something. No one gets out of the firmament. It's indestructible. It says it in the Bible. It's not a variable. How can you read the Bible and think you live on a spinning ball hurtling through chaos? Why would God's footstool be a hurtling ball traveling through chaos that can be hit by anything at any second? That is not safe and that is not special. Why would that be God's creation? How dare you? I'm sorry, there are people that I deeply love that think we live on a spinning ball, that are good Christians, and it baffles me. Where's the evidence for it? You got some pretty art pictures from NASA. Where else is it? Where are you experiencing this rotation? Where are you seeing this curvature? I know you've been in an airplane. If we lived on a spinning ball, you wouldn't look out a window of an airplane to see vast flatness of whatever, clouds, earth, whatever. You see a vast expanse. Were we on a ball, you would be straining to look down at a ball. Think about it in your head. It's on a sphere and you're over it. You'd be looking down at a sphere. We're not. We're never. The only time you see a sphere is from those BS space pictures where you don't see any satellites and you don't see any stars. There are supposedly 30 to 50,000 satellites in space. We never see any of them from any. NASA has a live feed right now showing the Earth from space, and there are no satellites and no stars. And this is your evidence? You've been in an airplane. You've seen the Earth from great heights yourself with your own eyes. Yet you believe something that is clearly a computer-generated image that shows something that they tell us doesn't exist. They tell us there's 30 to 50,000 satellites up there. Where are they? Why do you think we're on a spinning ball? Where is it? Show me one place that has curvature. I can show you countless that doesn't. I lived on the ocean my whole life. Look at it. And wouldn't it be flat all the way across? It's a ball, right? It's spherical everywhere. It would be spherical everywhere. You wouldn't see a flat horizon anywhere. Were you at great heights, you would see things tilting away from you. Things such as the salt flats in South America that are hundreds of square miles. And in Australia and all these places, massive salt flats, hundreds of square miles, perfectly flat. And we know this, and it's been measured. So why do you think we live on a spinning ball? Look into physics. Look into how they say things work. The second you leave the Earth, you are not held by its force. That's what they say. The second you're free of the Earth, you're supposed to be spinning loose like thousands of miles an hour. All right? I've linked a video where a man shot a .50 caliber round BMG round into the air, and it came straight down. All right? Where's the rotation? Where's the spinning? If you took off on an airplane, you would be screwed, because airplanes would only be able to travel in one direction. You wouldn't be, because you'd be like, it'd be like walking up an escalator going down the wrong way, except times in, thousands. You would never reach your destination because the Earth would be spinning faster than you'd be traveling. All right? This is by their rules, what they set, what they say. How do you think we live on a spinning ball? Especially when you read the Bible and it says otherwise. It's right in Genesis. It's right in every culture's version of Genesis. Even in the BS bullshit versions that have gods, multiple gods that are fallen demons, there is still a firmament. In every ancient culture, there is a firmament in their creation myth. Even when they eliminate God and they say, we did it, there's still a firmament. You're basing the fact that you believe that we live on a spinning ball 100% because NASA said so. 100%. 100%. Because it is nowhere. It is nowhere physically. It is nowhere in the Bible. It is nowhere historically. It's nowhere. Except they made it. And you chose to believe it. Because they're in charge. Because they're so much smarter than you because they went to all this school. Do you know what they do in school? They BF each other and like date rape girls and like dress up in sheets and dresses and do drugs and party and make friends and connections. You know what regular people do? They go there and they take out all these loans and they come out of there not knowing much more than what they went in or some liberal mind screw job, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, working behind some counter somewhere. All right? You think college is some good thing that produces geniuses? Do a little research. Look into it. Look at who's in charge of it. Look at how they do the books. Have you been to college? Every year they come out with new books. Every book costs $500, and it comes with a little code where where you can't use the book from the previous year because there's a code in it, and you need to put stuff into like a database when you do your homework or whatever. And this was like when I was going to school, like a decade ago. It can only be worse. You really think that's some system to produce geniuses? Are you kidding me? You really think school, you really think grade school and high school is still I know you know things. Why would you think a system that is created to split people off into different areas of what they're gonna do to serve the beast system, if they're gonna be the hamburger or they're gonna be the idiot operating the crank, or they're already outside the system and they're already in their little fancy schools and they're the guy behind the guy working the crank with a gun to the head of the guy the crank. All right, that's the system. All right, you're the hamburger, you're a guy working the crank, or you're the guy holding the gun to the guy working the crank. All right. And if you're going to school, you're going to be the organ grinder monkey operator, or you're going to be hamburger, except with less money. Why would you think this system is there to produce geniuses that you then believe? Huh? Tell me. Why do you trust these people? Why do you trust this system? You know who's in charge. You've read the Bible. Why is there a disconnect? Why are they two separate things? Why do you believe something that NASA themselves say is computer generated? They say themselves it is artist rendered. They say it themselves. Yet you believe it's real. Yet your eyes and your body tell you otherwise. You know when you're traveling 2 miles, you know when you're standing on something and it starts slightly moving, right? When you're on like a train or whatever, and it starts going, and it's only going like a mile an hour. You feel that, right? Okay. Why don't you feel the earth spinning thousands of miles an hour? Especially when it's supposed to be spinning faster in other areas than others. Why is it never felt? You know? I don't know. Baffling. I don't understand how you can read the Bible, how you can know who's in charge, and then you could then trust those people for information when your eyes, your body, and the Bible tells you otherwise. When common sense tells you otherwise. I don't know. I'm gonna give my throat a break. I got kind of mad. It just makes me really mad. It makes me really mad. I don't understand how intelligent, kind people knowingly will believe. I don't know. I already said it 15 times. It's baffling. Everything is baffling. Anyway, I love you guys so much. This is my only day off this week, so I'm gonna try to relax. I'm trying to get somewhere to enjoy the storm, but anywhere I can go and park, it's flooding, and there's tons of traffic. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll go get something to eat. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you.